You know how rookie contracts in the NFL work, right? You get drafted, you smile for the cameras, you shake the commissioner's hand, and then you spend the next few years grinding for a fraction of what you're actually worth, while billionaire owners count every dollar they didn't have to give you. Well, Shedeur Sanders just looked at that whole setup and said, no thanks. And not only did he say no, he cashed out with a $50 million deal outside of his NFL contract before even taking a single pro snap. A move so bold, so calculated, and so game-changing that NFL owners are reportedly shaking in their Gucci loafers. And it all started with one little phrase: prime equity.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
This isn't just a clause. This is a nuclear weapon disguised as a legal footnote, crafted by none other than Deion Sanders himself. And it gives Shedeur full control over his image, branding, and endorsements, without interference from the league, from his team, or from anyone not wearing a gold chain and sunglasses indoors. Let's be clear, most rookies don't get this kind of power. They get shoehorned into rigid endorsement structures, stuck in a corporate pipeline where their face gets slapped on some team-approved campaign for a local car dealership. But Shedeur? Shedeur got Nike, AT&T Sports, and a whole barbecue sauce line before he ever signed an NFL playbook. This isn't just about money, it's about leverage. It's about flipping the script in a league that's never really been designed to favor the players. And when that $50 million check cleared, that wasn't just a payday. That was a warning shot to every team exec still living in the old era of shut up and play. Now let's rewind. Because this didn't come out of nowhere. Shedeur's been cooking this play for years. The moment Deion Sanders took over at Jackson State and then brought his sons to Colorado, the whole family became a media ecosystem. Full YouTube series. Press conferences with more drip than ESPN primetime. That wasn't just for hype, it was branding boot camp. And Shedeur? He graduated top of his class. The numbers speak louder than any highlight reel. $15 million in jersey sales before he even got drafted. That's not just popularity, that's conversion. That's audience loyalty. That's your favorite player's marketing team could never energy. And while NFL front offices were trying to figure out if his stats would translate to the pro level, Shedeur was negotiating like a Fortune 500 CEO. He didn't wait for the league to assign his value, he assigned it himself. Then he packaged it, branded it, and turned it into capital. Enter the Nike deal. A rumored $250 million over 4 years. Let that marinate for a second. A $250 million partnership, and this man hasn't even stepped on a pro field yet. You think Nike did that because he throws a pretty spiral? They did it because Shedeur owns a brand, and that brand sells. This is where things get spicy. Because the Cleveland Browns, yeah, those Browns, were reportedly trying to lock him down early. They thought they could pull off a draft day heist. But Shedeur? He ghosted them harder than your college ex after finals week. No visits. No calls back. Just silence. And then, boom, news breaks that he's staying at Colorado for another year. NFL owners blinked twice. Cleveland started drafting backups. Meanwhile, Shedeur was finalizing contracts with EA Sports and launching a limited edition apparel line that sold out in hours. That's the level we're operating at now. He's not just a player, he's a walking enterprise. A quarterback with a marketing department. A 21-year-old with a better diversification portfolio than most hedge funds. And if you think this is all style over substance, hold that thought. Because Shedeur can play. He's smart in the pocket, he reads defenses like a spreadsheet, and he's cool under pressure. But what makes him different, what's actually terrifying to the league, is that he knows he doesn't need to depend on football. He's not playing for a contract, he already has one. He's not stuck chasing bonuses, he's writing checks. He's building generational wealth before the first hit, the first concussion, the first holdout drama. NFL teams aren't used to this. They're used to rookies showing up with wide eyes and empty wallets. They're not used to negotiating with someone who has more sponsorship leverage than the entire franchise. This isn't just a paradigm shift, it's a total system override. And now the question hanging in the air is, What happens when every young athlete starts thinking like Shedeur? Because this isn't going to stop with him. Every college player watching right now is taking notes. Every high schooler dreaming of the league just got a new blueprint, and it doesn't start with the draft. It starts with ownership. Ownership of your name, your image, your brand, your narrative. That the prime equity clause is about more than just PR control. It's a model, a customizable framework for athletes who are sick of being told to wait their turn while everyone else gets rich off their talent. And you better believe the league is sweating. This kind of control breaks the unwritten rules. It tells players, you don't need to play their game, you can make your own. If enough players follow Shedeur's lead, the NFL won't just have to update their playbooks, they'll have to rewrite their entire financial structure. Think about it. If rookies start arriving with $50 million already in the bank, why would they ever put up with being undervalued? Why would they tolerate the politics, the low-ball negotiations, the prove-it contracts? The leverage shifts permanently. You can already feel the ripple effects. College players are hiring brand managers. High school stars are turning down scholarships for nil packages. Coaches are scrambling to keep up with the new reality. The athlete is now the CEO. And Dion? Oh, he's loving every second of it. Let's be real, this entire master plan has prime-time fingerprints all over it. He's not just building a football legacy, he's building a dynasty. A new kind of sports empire where the players call the shots and the old gatekeepers are left catching up. Even the timing of all this is strategic. With Shedeur choosing to stay at Colorado another year, the Sanders brand gets another full season of exposure, drama, and control. Another year to refine the media machine. Another year to cash in, stack equity, and shape the narrative exactly how they want. And the NFL? They're watching helplessly. Because for the first time in a long time, they're not holding the cards. Let's go ahead and hand out some awards while we're here. Best performance in a role not written for him goes to Shedeur Sanders for turning the NFL rookie script into a multi-million-dollar franchise before Act 1 even started. Most likely to trigger a league-wide panic attack? Also Shedeur Sanders. No rookie has made owners this uncomfortable since Colin Kaepernick took a knee, just in a very different way. And finally, biggest flex of the decade? That's easy, declining the Cleveland Browns and signing a $50 million brand deal in the same year. That's not business. That's art. So where does this go from here? If Shedeur performs even half as well on the field as he has off it, we're looking at a complete redefinition of what it means to be a pro athlete. The league will have no choice but to adapt. And future players? They'll study this like scripture. Because Shedeur didn't just sign a deal. He set a precedent. He's not just chasing rings, he's building a realm. Let's see who's smart enough to follow. Comment below. Do you think this is the future of athlete contracts? Or is Shedeur just a one-of-one? And if you were him, would you have taken the Browns' call? Don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns of the biggest meltdowns, media chaos, and billionaire power moves shaking up the world of sports and entertainment. New drama drops every week. You will want front row seats. Shedeur's $50 million deal isn't just a flashy headline. It's a threat. A well-lit, camera-ready middle finger to the old guard. And the timing couldn't be more dangerous for them. Let's talk about control. The NFL has built an entire empire on it. Control over player behavior. Control over public narratives. Control over how, when, and where money flows. Rookies? They're supposed to earn their stripes, not start their careers with a private jet, a marketing empire, and full autonomy over their face, name, and likeness. So what happens when a 21-year-old quarterback rolls up with more negotiating power than the front office? Chaos. Glorious, boardroom-shaking chaos. Teams are used to having leverage, dangling multi-year contracts like golden carrots in front of kids who just want to make it. But Shedeur flipped that entire equation. He doesn't need their carrot. He's already baking his own cake and cashing in on every slice. And now the front offices are realizing what it actually means when athletes start behaving like CEOs. You want Shedeur to play for your team? You're not just signing a quarterback, you're buying into a brand. You're entering a partnership. And guess what? That prime equity clause ensures that you don't control the narrative, he does. That's a power shift the league hasn't seen since the dawn of free agency. Except this time, it's happening before the ink is even dry on his draft card. Let's zoom in for a second on that clause, because it's the real villain, or hero, depending on your perspective, in this story. Prime equity isn't just a clever play on Dion's nickname. It's a structural blueprint designed to give Shedeur ownership over his commercial identity. Every endorsement, every campaign, every appearance, approved by him, managed by his team, monetized on his terms. That's unheard of. Even star veterans in the league don't have this level of autonomy baked into their contracts. Most players? They get a locker, a schedule, and a politely worded reminder that the team comes first. Not Shedeur. He's the team. And here's where things start to get a little awkward in NFL headquarters. Because if Shedeur pulls this off, if he continues to dominate the off-field space and eventually lives up to the on-field hype, it creates a roadmap that the league has no way to stop. This isn't just NIL 2.0. This is post-league athlete capitalism, and it terrifies them. Because the second you normalize this kind of independence, the NFL's leverage starts to erode. You think future top picks are going to walk into draft rooms and accept minimum-scale contracts after watching Shedeur earn more from a Nike hoodie collab than most rookies make in their entire rookie deal? Absolutely not. And here's where we dive into the most uncomfortable question of all. What exactly is the NFL offering that Shedeur doesn't already have? Exposure? He's already a household name. Platform? He's got more followers than half the league's franchises. Money? He's not just rich, he's equity rich. Which means he's playing a long game while everyone else is still negotiating signing bonuses like it's 2006. So then what happens to the system? What happens when the system is no longer the biggest prize on the table? Let's look at the optics. A guy like Shedeur skipping meetings with the Browns isn't just a draft decision. It's a rejection of the idea that a team gets to choose him. It's a reversal of the entire dynamic. The power play that tells the league, I choose where I go, not you. Can we also take a moment to appreciate how deliciously strategic that snub was? The Cleveland Browns are notorious for burning through quarterbacks like reality TV cycles. To turn down even a conversation with them? That's not random. That's a calculated branding move. Shedeur's not just protecting his career, he's protecting his narrative. Being the face of a broken franchise? Risky. Being the guy who said, nah, to a historically chaotic team and still raked in generational wealth? Iconic. The message is loud and clear. He's not for sale to the highest bidder. He's curating the value of his own brand. That's next-level thinking. That's how moguls move. And speaking of mogul moves, let's not gloss over the barbecue sauce empire. You know you've transcended football when your off-season rollout involves condiments. But again, it's not random. It's cultural currency. It's brand building. It's knowing exactly how to speak to your audience in a way that feels real, not corporate. Shedeur isn't just slapping his name on things for quick cash. He's building a lifestyle brand. Apparel, food, gaming, tech. The man is basically the Beyoncé of quarterbacks. And he's still in college. So where does this lead? Honestly, to some uncomfortable board meetings. NL owners are already known for being, let's say, traditional. Many of them don't love the idea of players becoming too powerful. The league still operates under a very specific hierarchy: coaches, GMs, owners on top, players as labor, not partners. But Shedeur is forcing the league to confront a new reality. Players are no longer just athletes. They're platforms. In the past, the NFL could keep everything in-house. Control the messaging, the media appearances, even the social media to some extent. But now, the most powerful media outlet isn't ESPN, it's a player's own Instagram feed. And when your players start commanding 8-figure deals with zero league involvement, that's not just a shift in economics, it's a shift in culture. We're in the middle of a sports renaissance, and Shedeur Sanders might just be its Michelangelo. He's not the product. He's the producer. And if you think the old heads are going to just sit back and let this happen, oh no. You better believe the NFL is going to try to find a way to claw some of that control back. They'll rework rookie contract structures. They'll revisit collective bargaining agreements. They'll float player conduct clauses that just happen to impact branding rights. But here's the kicker. The toothpaste is out of the tube, and you can't stuff it back in just because it makes you uncomfortable. Shedeur Sanders is a problem, but not in the way they expected. He's not problematic. He's a problem for their system. A walking, talking reminder that you don't need to bend to the league to win the game. And the real mic drop? He hasn't even entered the draft yet. Let that sink in. So what happens when he does? If he stays healthy, plays smart, and keeps building his brand, he's going to enter the NFL not as a rookie, but as a partner. And that's going to force the entire league to evolve or risk becoming irrelevant to the next generation of athletes. Because Gen Z? They're watching. And they don't care about tradition. They care about ownership. About authenticity. About using your platform for something bigger than stats on a spreadsheet. Shedeur is speaking their language fluently. And the league? Still trying to find the translation. Look, we don't know exactly how this story ends. But one thing's for sure, the NFL will never be the same. So while old-school analysts are out here debating whether Shedeur's mechanics are NFL ready, the rest of us are watching something way bigger unfold. This isn't just about one player. This is about a movement. A quiet rebellion. A strategic, branded revolution. And Shedeur Sanders? He's not just riding the wave. He's the wave. You can almost picture it, billionaire owners in glass offices trying to decode TikTok metrics, asking their PR reps what engagement rate means, while Shedeur is casually posting behind-the-scenes footage of his latest sneaker drop with Nike. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. Because he owns it. That's what's got them sweating. See, this isn't a player gone rogue. This is a player gone corporate. A player who's figured out how to monetize himself in ways the league never accounted for. The NFL was ready for talent, but it wasn't ready for infrastructure. It wasn't ready for a quarterback with a marketing pipeline, a content team, a merchandising strategy, and a literal sauce line. You thought the biggest challenge for a rookie QB was learning to read a blitz? Try managing a full-blown personal brand that's scaling faster than most startups. And here's the thing, they want him. Desperately. Because whether they admit it or not, Shedeur is the future of the league. He's young, charismatic, sharp, and he's bringing in a whole new generation of fans that don't care about box scores. These aren't the Sunday ticket watchers. These are people who discover athletes through YouTube Shorts, IG Reels, and EA Sports trailers. Shedeur lives in that world. He doesn't have to adjust to it, he thrives in it. And that makes him invaluable. But with that value comes one huge, uncomfortable question for the NFL. How do you draft a player you can't control? Because once Shedeur declares he's going to be a top pick, no question. And whoever gets him better come correct. This isn't a standard rookie onboarding. This is a merger. A partnership. A deal that's going to require buy-in from the franchise, the front office, and probably their legal department. Because remember, he's not showing up to do the team a favor. He's not begging for a roster spot. He's arriving with terms. And if those terms aren't met, he can walk. And still make more money than half the league. That's not ego. That's leverage. And honestly, that's what makes all of this so compelling. Because Shedeur isn't anti-league. He's just pro himself. And that distinction is everything. He's not trying to burn down the NFL. He's trying to force it to grow up. And honestly, it's about time. The NFL has always marketed itself as a meritocracy. But let's not kid ourselves. The draft is a lottery. Contracts are rigid. And rookies, no matter how elite, are treated like investments, not partners. What Shedeur is doing is demanding a seat at the table. Not as a favor. Not as a novelty. But as a requirement. And that changes everything. Because once a player like Shedeur makes it clear that autonomy is non-negotiable, you can bet other top-tier athletes will follow. Why wouldn't they? Why settle for a cookie-cutter rookie experience when you can model yourself after someone who got $50 million before his first pro touchdown? Let's be real, Shedeur's not just a quarterback, he's a case study. Right now, there's a whole generation of agents, lawyers, college coaches, and sports marketing reps watching this unfold in real time. And they're building frameworks, adapting strategies, studying the prime equity model like it's gospel. Because this moment? This is the playbook for the next 10 years of athlete empowerment. And the real genius behind it? Deion Sanders. Let's give credit where credit's due. Deion didn't just raise a football player, he raised a business. A brand. A legacy in motion. Say what you want about Primetime's Flash, but the man knows the game, on the field and off. He saw the shift coming before the league did. And instead of trying to squeeze Shedeur into the traditional mold, he built a new mold entirely. And now the NFL has to play by his rules. The level of foresight it takes to pull this off? Unreal. We're talking about a father-son duo who rewrote the rookie blueprint and turned it into a billion-dollar vision before Shedeur even touched a professional locker room. And honestly, the part that really stings for the league is this. They could have seen it coming. They watched nil explode in college football. They saw athletes build empires with YouTube vlogs, TikTok challenges, and Instagram live streams. But they still clung to the old ways. Still assumed players would trade creative control for a jersey and a chance. Shedeur didn't. And that's why he's winning. Not just winning games, but winning the system. And now, the real drama begins. Because when he finally enters the draft, who's brave enough to draft him? Not just for his arm, but for his empire. For his expectations. For the brand deals, the demands, the clause that starts with prime and ends with you can't own me. What happens when a traditional franchise tries to lowball him? What happens when a conservative front office wants to clip his wings? Are they ready to lose the future over old pride? Because make no mistake, there's a line forming. Teams want him. Brands want him. The league needs him. But Shedeur? Shedeur is going to pick whoever respects the empire. And if no one's ready, he'll just keep building. Keep cashing checks. Keep redefining what it really means to be a pro athlete in 2025. And the best part? He's still just getting started. So, let's wrap this up the only way we can. The NFL tried to hand Shedeur Sanders a playbook, and he handed them back a business plan. The league wanted a quarterback. What they got is a movement. Shedeur isn't playing their game, he's designing a whole new one. With better payouts, better rules, and better long-term strategy. And the only question left is, are they smart enough to get on board, or stubborn enough to get left behind? Drop a comment. If you were an NFL GM, would you take the risk and draft Shedeur, or would his branding empire make you nervous? And don't forget to subscribe, because if this is how Shedeur starts his story, you already know the next chapter is going to be even crazier. Stay tuned, because the game just changed forever.